This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Whether you're in your running era, Pilates era, or yoga era, find Peloton workouts that work with you. From meditating at your kids' game to mastering a strength program, they've got everything you need to keep knocking down your goals. So no matter your era, make it your best with Peloton. Find your push. Find your power. Peloton. Visit onepeloton.com.
So good, so good, so good.
Get ready, because Clear the Rack is on at your Nordstrom Rack store. Now through Thursday, find incredible deals on Wear Now styles on sale for even less at Nordstrom Rack. Take an extra 25% off red tag clearance throughout the store from brands like UGG, Vince, Stuart Weitzman, AG, and more. All sales final. The best stuff goes fast. So shop this sale at Nordstrom Rack today. Please see NordstromRack.com or ask a store associate for details.
Bored with your boring cardio? Stop pedaling that snooze cycle to Nowheresville and try some cardio that's actually fun. Supernatural Fitness, available on MetaQuest. Isn't that right, Jane Fonda?
Cardio will never be boring again.
Sweat to the beat of thousands of chart-topping songs inside stunning virtual landscapes.
Bet your stationary bike can't do that.
Visit GetSupernatural.com and join the next fitness revolution. Supernatural VR Fitness, only on MetaQuest. Rated T for Teen.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, a literary podcast where we deep dive into the writings of your favorite novels. This winter, we are hosting a book club while we prepare our 10-part literary analysis of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And each week we'll discuss one book from our winter book club roster. By using our literary background, we'll provide our flash analysis of each book, as well as discuss listener thoughts. But... oh, no. Sorry, Amy, go ahead.
But since it is the new year, we're taking a break from book club this week. This episode airs January 2nd, and we wanted to start 2025 by discussing our bookish hopes, goals, and predictions, as well as read some of the hopes, goals, and predictions our listeners have for the year as well.
It does not help that we are recording this on December 30th, and Barnes & Noble has an amazing sale going on with their hardbacks. And Amy and I were literally discussing on how much more money can one spend.
I was thinking this morning as I woke up, consumerism has us in a chokehold. There are sales leading up to the holidays. There are sales, post-holiday sales. And you just are constantly compelled to spend money. And yes, I fall into the trap. I want the books. I want to put them on a bookshelf I don't have, in a room I don't have.
Yeah, I won $100 from a stocking stuffer scratcher, and all the books that I got, because I got your book, but my books were just under $100. So in my mind, I mean, those were free books. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I'm willing to spend $100 on a book. So does that mean I go get more books? That's not how that works. However, it is $10 for just this one book I really want. So, well, yeah, I guess we'll start with our own hopes and dreams. And that is have a book sugar daddy. Oh, I want to be able to go next year, because this is the sale they have every year at the end of the year that I always forget. I want to be able to go in and then have my guy be like, whatever you want, babe. I'll get it for you.
As much as you can carry physically.
As much as you can carry. And that means more reason to go to the gym, because I struggled carrying all those books yesterday.
Yeah, we need to start doing stair steps with weighted vests, so we
just have books as the weights.
Yes, and totes on our arms.
Let's go. We're taking tote bags of books to the gym. This is what you want from me. Yeah. Is that what we wanted to start with? Sorry, go ahead.
No, let's start with goals. So you set a goal every year of how many books you're going to read.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I did.
So what was your goal for 2024, and where did you end up?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the goal for 2023. I had that as 100 books, and I got 117. And then when I started 2024, I was like, wow, I needed more other things to do. So I took it easy. I set my goal for 75, but then at a certain point, I was like, I think I could do more. So I brought it up to 100. And I think I'm going to end on 95. But Spark, what is it? I'm on the Heat of the Everflame, Heart of the Everflame.
Yeah.
That thing is 34 hours long.
It's 3 books worth, really.
Yeah. So I'm ending at 95 books this year. A couple of those were manga, I will say. And I don't know what I want to do for a goal next year. I'm trying to not have as many, like my 75 was a real loosey-goosey goal. Like I just kind of put that there and try not to think about it because I know a lot of people get really, not hung up, but they feel guilty if they don't reach their reading goal. What about you?
So I've never had a reading goal. I've never tracked my books. So my goal for 2025 is to start actually tracking the books that I read.
Yeah.
Or listen to. And just because I know with the podcast and work, I'm not going to be able to read as much as I would like. So I'm going to set a conservative goal of 50.
Which is still 50 books.
It's still 4 books a month. Like
That's
still a
still
lot.
so many books. Like that's the funny thing is that like how many books. I mean, just with this winter book club, it was 9 books.
I know. Well, and if you think about, we've done 2 book clubs this year.
Yeah.
Both of which one had 9, one had 11. So that's 20 books. Plus the books we read for the podcast. Plus any commuting books. Like I probably got to 50 this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal is just to track, Like I don't think 2023, I had a goal of I want to read this many books. And while I had a fun time with it, I didn't like the feeling of trying to achieve that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Versus this year, I just kind of was here for the ride.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Let me read some of the listener goals.
Did anyone set book goals?
Yeah, some people were talking about wanting to have more book goals, but someone here has, my goal is to read 1 book from my shelf for every new book I buy or borrow.
Oh, that is a great goal.
Yeah, that's a really good goal. Did you see the video I posted on our stories of all the books that I have that are on my TBR?
Yes, I didn't hear the audio, but I could see the books, and I was like, I know some of those she didn't just buy today, but some of those she definitely did just buy today. So I was like, this is probably her TBR.
Yeah. A lot of people I'd say a fair amount of people's goals for next year is to go through stop buying more books. Just read the books you have.
I think that's a good goal. I have physical books on my bookshelf that people have lent to me or that I've bought that I've never touched. And I feel like starting January 1st, just in case I decide to go to Barnes & Noble today.
Yeah, no, today doesn't count. Because, what if we go to Costco and then Barnes & Noble? I don't know.
Oh!
I know.
Starting January 1st, I am not allowed to buy new books until I've read everything on my shelf that I haven't already read.
It's a beautiful goal for you. I think your goal is a great goal for you.
I need to go count how many books there are that I haven't read that are on my shelf.
I promise nothing.
Well, and I have Emma's bookshelf too, but I know I haven't read any of those. So I feel like I could take up all 50 just from our 2 bookshelves.
Genuinely. I know the ones that I have, a lot of them are within the realm of pop culture. I was going to call it pop culture, book culture. They're popular within everything. And it's not that physical books are hard for me to read. I do it's sometimes harder because I don't have as much time reading physical books. Like it's just easier for me to get through audiobooks,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have an Audible subscription. I will be getting new audiobooks. I have access to all your audiobooks that I haven't consumed yet.
Yep.
And I commute. So I will be listening to audiobooks. That's a given.
Yeah. It's the physical books. Yeah. Go ahead. Amy's excited.
So I wanted to make you aware because you might like this too.
Oh.
So long story, but I'll shorten it as much as I can. My dad did a white elephant thing for my family, except he bought all the gifts and it was a pay it forward. So you got assigned a number, you opened the gift with that number on it, and then you had to decide who would like it most. You were never allowed to keep it. So Emma got a set of headphones that are bone conduction. So it literally, you can only hear it by if it touches your skull.
Wow.
So your ears are exposed and you can hear everything that's going on around you. So you can be listening to music and not disturb anybody at work, which is what I need. So I just bought some. But it's a safer way for me to commute.
Yeah.
Without my AirPods.
Yep.
And it's
Have you tried them?
I tried hers. It's really, really cool. Really cool. I highly recommend them for working out.
Okay. I'll look into it. It scares me. There's something a little bit about it, like it has to connect to my bone to work.
Well, it's just they just rest on your head, and it looks like over the ear headphones. But they don't go in your ears.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to check it out. I want to check it out.
I bought a pair for myself, so you can try mine.
Yes, please. I think it makes total sense for you because you commute and you want to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah. But I think that it's just a great thing for if you want to listen to things but need the privacy because it's a spicy book, but you also need to be
so other people can't hear what you're saying.
other people cannot hear anything.
But like, what if I want to cozy up next to a guy and be like, to hear the freaky shit I like to listen to?
Well, then you've got your AirPods for that.
Just blast it up on high. This could be yours. If you just ask me out. All right, let me read some other goals that people have. Oh, actually, let me read a prediction. And this is probably one of the number one predictions that people have.
Okay.
And I will say this is listed as a hope, goal, and a prediction.
Okay. I can guess what it is.
SJM announcing ACOTAR 6.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, but let's predict when she's going to announce.
Okay.
I feel like this should be like maybe I need to create a bingo card from this conversation.
A book bingo card. That would be nice.
I think I'm going to create a bingo card from everything we discuss, and we'll put it on our social media so we can keep track throughout the year. People can check in. I think this is going to be great. So let me just open my notes app.
Oh, you're right. We're starting this now.
Oh, yeah. Book bingo 2025.
I love that.
Okay, ACOTAR.
ACOTAR announcement. Some people think that she's going to announce it in January.
Okay.
I think she would announce it on the 1-year anniversary of House of last one. Flame and Shadow. That's it.
The 1-year anniversary, so like January 30th or something?
Yeah. I think that they're probably, because we still don't have a paperback of it.
You're right.
And every time that she's done the paperback version, she's announced something else.
Okay.
So if she cares about us at all, she'll announce it on January 30th on the 1-year anniversary. We'll get the paperback version of it and of Flame and Shadow, and we'll see.
Okay, so this is a very specific bingo thing.
Yeah. We could have it be like one of the things is announces ACOTAR 6 and the other one gets Jacqueline had it freakishly correct.
Freakishly correct.
Jack makes a freakishly accurate prediction.
Okay. I like that. And we have to be able to remember which freakishly accurate
I mean, it's
prediction.
any freakish accurate prediction. Like if I just say something and it's like, oh shit, that actually came true.
Okay. All right. Remind me what your book goals are. Was it 75?
Oh, I didn't. I walked away not saying it on purpose. I'll say 75 again.
Okay. I don't think you'll have a hard time with that.
Mm-mm. I hit 75 like back in October, I think.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
What other predictions have our listeners given us?
Oh, that's a great. Let me pull. Let me pull.
Oh, I have a prediction.
Yeah.
I predict Onyx Storm will receive more negative feedback than Iron Flame by the book community.
Interesting. Okay, I want to play off of that. I think that is correct, and I think you and I are going to think that it was surprisingly a lot better.
Interesting. So the book community will think it's bad and we'll think it's good?
Yeah.
Or is it only in comparison to Iron Flame?
In comparison to Iron Flame.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about Onyx Storm. So that's coming out in a month, just under a month. And it is, Amy and I are going to the midnight. Did we get tickets to the midnight party? Nice. At the Rip Bodice in LA. And then we're also going the next day on actual pub day. We're going to Yaros is doing a speaking thing.
Yes. Yeah.
In LA.
At Barnes & Noble. And we're
No. It's a different one that we're going to.
Oh, it's a different one?
There's
okay.
we couldn't get tickets to the Barnes & Noble one. That sold out. But the other one was like she's on stage and she's doing like a whole thing. It's like at a theater.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I thought they were doing 2 Barnes & Noble events at
No.
different locations.
Oh, they were. I think they were doing another Barnes & Noble, but that one ended up having nothing to do with her. Like she wasn't going to be there. So last minute, I was like, we're going to do this other one, which turns out is great because that sold out really quickly because everyone was busy with the Barnes & Noble stuff.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. We're pretty close to the stage.
Oh,
We're actually kind of like center as close as front row.
Are you going to make a poster and be like, you still owe me an interview?
You said you were going to be on our podcast and then ended up not being on our podcast. A little bit. I don't know. I'm tempted. I think I will always think that Iron Flame was a very disappointing book too. It was one of the most inconsistent character development books I've read that's like a major pop. I don't want to say ever, but like at a major book, right? This is like the blockbuster release of the book industry. And that was published within the same year, I think, as Fourth Wing. And it was pumped the hell out very quickly. And I think it shows. Onyx Storm, she's taking her time on that. And I hope that it shows.
Yeah. And I think the book she released recently, that's just a regular romance book and not related to, is it Empyrean series? I forget what the name of the actual series is for Fourth Wing. But I think it was well received.
Okay.
So maybe, and she said in an interview she would not have been able to write Onyx Storm if she hadn't taken the time to write the romance book.
Oh, because she probably needed like a little palate cleanser.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I could see her spending more time and focusing on her craft, which I don't think enough was done for that in Iron Flame. Have you seen the social media posts where people are taking screenshots of Rebecca Yarros in her office? And you can see Onyx Storm right next to Iron Flame on her bookshelf. And Onyx Storm is smaller than Iron Flame.
Interesting. Which is good because Iron Flame was another one that was just
too long.
Too long. Yeah. Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. It should have been 2 different books. So I think people will, I genuinely think people will be disappointed. I'm curious. I don't think Xaden will, whatever's happened to him, I don't think will be reversed by the end of the book. And I think people are going to be really upset about that.
Yeah, I think it's so funny because a lot of people were really surprised with Xaden. I don't want any listeners to be like, but I was surprised with Xaden. I wasn't. I didn't predict that he would turn like that, but I was not surprised at all when it happened.
No, yeah. It was, to me, the obvious next step.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, if not him, then her. Like, one of them had to become Venom.
Yeah. And I think the reason why you and I are going to like it more is because, to your point, her focusing on her craft. And you and I will end up vibing with that a lot more.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's going to do something that is going to annoy the crap out of everyone. And you and I are going to be like, that was a bold choice. I like it. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that made sense.
Yeah, like respect for the risky move, because sometimes that's That's what you need to be long term for the series to be successful.
Yeah, the risky move. Now, I don't think the risky move is to break up with Xaden. I think the risky move is to stay by him because I think we've done the whole breakup, get back together thing in the second book. You're done with that. We have to move past it.
Yeah.
I think the risky move might be completely redeeming Dean or Dane or whatever his name is.
Dane.
It might be, it might be something else that people just don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like I was listening, one of our past episodes, you and I were like, Bella should have fucked Jacob. And
Yeah.
she should have had sex with Jacob
It
first.
was Lightlark.
Yeah. That would have been the better one. And
Yeah.
but that's the kind of bold move that I think would have made sense for characters, especially like a horny ass Bella. I don't know why we keep coming back to Twilight, but it made sense. However, people wouldn't have liked it. And I think I hope that's what she does, something like that in Onyx Storm, where it makes sense.
Yeah.
People may not like it.
Yeah. And you know what? Kill some characters that we care about.
Uh-huh.
Stop killing the people you introduced just a couple chapters ago or just in that chapter.
Burn. She did that with what's his face in the first one.
Yeah, but nothing since.
Her mom.
Eh.
The funny thing is, I agree with you.
Did we really care about the mom?
No. Like it's. I get it. It's like her mom.
She killed Liam, but I don't feel like the mom is equivalent to killing Liam.
I agree. To me, it's obvious you're going to kill off a parent. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a given.
Everybody's got to join the dead parent
Parent
club.
society. Yeah, it's kind of like, what you mean, like you're going to have a main character and you're not going to have a tragic death within their immediate family or some kind of mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I agree with that. That's funny.
She's got to kill like Mira, her sister, or really kill her brother this time.
Yeah, like truly stick to it. Kill him and stick to it.
Stick to it.
Yeah, I think I love a pointless death in a book.
Yeah.
Because
that's what life is.
Yeah, Liam was great, but Liam was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that is also heartbreaking. When you get a book that does a truly pointless death and they do it well, I'm going to throw it out. Hedwig. When Hedwig died.
Instant tears.
Instant tears. Like, I know Hedwig trying to save Harry, but at the same time, it was the most unnecessary. We didn't need that. That wasn't needed.
Yeah.
I cried more with Hedwig dying than I did with Violet's mom.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I cried
completely.
more about Dobby than I did about Violet's mom.
I wasn't even going to bring him up. The only person that compares to Dobby is Lahaba, and Dobby even more because I had more years with him.
No, I cried more with Lahaba than I did with Dobby.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I've cried more often with Dobby because of how much I've seen the movies.
Oh, and I haven't. I've only seen it once.
Yeah. We'll have to fix that. Anyway. That was a good Onyx Storm prediction. All right, go ahead and add that to the list.
Yep. I'm surprised I have more Rebecca Yarros Onyx Storm knowledge than you do right now. I mean, it's probably Instagram. Instagram cares more than TikTok right now, I'm sure.
Yeah. I have a weird relationship with Rebecca.
I don't know why I get fed so much of her stuff, to be honest.
I avoid it.
That's fair.
I avoid it. I have, like I said, I have a weird relationship. You ghost me once, I will haunt you forever.
I think I like, it's like a, what is it?
Oh, like a love-hate?
Well, it's not even more than love-hate.
Like you love hating.
Yeah, I love hating on Rebecca Yarros and her writing.
We don't, the funny thing is, when we did Fourth Wing in the summer, and I will go back to it, it was an enjoyable read.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of fun. I think it was extremely refreshing. I think a lot of people were harping on her way too hard for doing tropes that we've seen elsewhere, but okay, and what of it?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
I think Fourth Wing was a really good first fun book.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be revolutionary, but it was also very good and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Iron Flame, I think where I can guarantee what makes me bitter is the fact that our interviewed was canceled because she was busy finishing up Iron Flame. And it's you canceled on us so that you can do a half-hearted book.
Yeah.
We're obviously so much better than like a best-selling novel, regardless of the reviews.
Yeah, let me give you some advice. Just cut the book in half.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe if she had done that interview with us, it would have inspired her to cut things down. Or maybe we would have been like, oh wow, you unlocked this other thing in my brain. Just saying,
I mean,
other authors have had that moment with us.
can I say something to enrage you? I think she canceled on us, and the excuse was she was working on Iron Flame. I think she got too big for us.
I want you to know I knew that. I knew that. I know that's the truth. And I'm going to cling on, and that's okay. She's my white whale. Like one day we're going to have her on the podcast and all will be forgiven.
Yeah.
But like until then. Yeah, and until then I'm hanging on to this. I can be spiteful and hopeful.
You are a person of complex emotions.
Aren't we all? Okay, so here's another goal that I've seen a number of people list on their or hopes and goals for 2025 for their bookish goals. And that is to experiment with new tropes and new genres.
Okay. I like that. I like that for a lot of people because sometimes you don't know what you're missing. Like, tap into the Omega verse. Like,
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say monster romances, guys. Morning Milking Farm, Glory Farm, whatever that's called. The Dragon's Bride, like, step into new things. In all seriousness, though, I know there's a lot of things that a lot of other genres people recommend. I posted a thing on our stories of what's a book you recommend, and a lot of interesting different genres that people posted that I'm always like, wow, our listeners are better humans than me. I am somewhat committed to reading a Brandon Sanderson book next year.
Wow.
I said somewhat.
My brother will give you honest, like, don't start with this, start with this. Where
Sam,
I don't think you can trust Randall with that.
I would never trust Randall with anything. Sam gave me some really good advice of like, what's a good one to start to like with, because I want to know more about his magic system and how he talks about it. And so she gave me a recommendation on it. But
which one did she suggest?
There's one that's like 3 books.
Is it Mistborn? The Mistborn series?
Amy. Oh, actually, I can look it up. I can tell you. I was like, how am I supposed to remember?
She texted
right. She
you.
texted me. You're right. Yeah, she did. Mistborn. Yeah.
Yep. I just gave my brother back his copy of Mistborn.
Oh, I'm going to audiobook it. Let's not pretend.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's going to be an audiobook one.
That's a good choice.
I hope they've done a better, like a good version and they've updated it or something, but
I'm sure they have. He's so popular.
Yeah. So my goal is to read a boy book. Or it's not a book for boys, but a book written by a boy.
Written by a man, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. I think that's a great goal. I mean, look, we don't like Pierce Brown, but I love his books.
And I love his looks. I'm sorry. He is a very attractive man, but I agree.
So sometimes we have to give men the chance. My mother was lamenting how much I hate and distrust men.
Why? What's shocking about that? Has she met men?
Seriously.
Yeah. At one point when I was with my mom and her husband and then my uncle was there, we said something and I was like, just about like shady ass men doing shady ass thing. And I was like, that's why guys suck. And my mom kind of had like looked over at her husband. She's like, well, not all men. And I stopped. I was like, if you have to categorize that, if you have to specify that, like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
And she was like, I know, but if you have
to say it to the good men in your life and they can't agree with you, then they're part of the problem.
When I say men suck, if you think I genuinely mean every single human man in this world, I can't help you to not understand nuance. You know what I mean? Like, I can't help you understand the breakdown. But if you can at least understand when I say men suck and you get that it's like we live in a patriarchal society and, some of the worst things that are going on are because of men.
Yeah. I recently saw a reel of a professor talking about how Socrates was taught by a woman and it's in writing.
Yeah.
and how because we live in a patriarchal society, when Christianity became the major religion, they went through and they're like, we have to erase all traces of female leaders, thinkers, teachers, philosophers, because they cannot be shown in power.
Okay, so you and I, Amy, went on this like random ass rant about
tangent. We'll keep it for Patreon, but we will not keep it for the episode. And now, a word from our sponsors. I don't know about you, Jack, but when it's gift giving season, as much as I love to get everyone gifts, I always stop and get myself something as well, because you never know if it's going to be a win or bust with everybody else's presents to you.
The real gift is the one we can give ourselves, particularly the ones we can order from Quince. Quince has the most amazing everyday luxury items, but at an affordable price.
This is the time of year where those iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters from Quince are the perfect snuggly thing to wear to the office, to wear on the couch.
I've been visiting my mom, who now lives in the East Coast, and it is cold there, and I do not have the proper clothes. And I've actually been ordering some of my clothes from Quince because all items on Quince are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They're able to do that by partnering direct with top factories and cutting out the cost of middleman, and passes on the savings to you. And you can get sweaters and coats, which is what I got.
Not only do they use premium fabrics and finishes, they also work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. If you haven't treated yourself yet, get yourself that present you'll love this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 40% off select styles, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
Bored with your boring cardio? Stop pedaling that snooze cycle to Nowheresville and try some cardio that's actually fun. Supernatural Fitness, available on MetaQuest. Isn't that right, Jane Fonda?
Cardio will never be boring again.
Sweat to the beat of thousands of chart-topping songs inside stunning virtual landscapes.
Bet your stationary bike can't do that.
Visit GetSupernatural.com and join the next fitness revolution. Supernatural VR Fitness, only on MetaQuest. Rated T for Teen.
Okay, so here is, do you have any other hopes, dreams, or do you have anything that you want to list off?
Well, why don't we see where our listener thoughts take us?
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting one. And I'm going to kind of group a couple of these. Prediction would be that the price of books will be going up a lot. And I'm also going to pull another user saying that they want to use Libby and go to the library more often. So I want to group that together because I have no doubt about those prices going up. Amy and I were talking about simple Toyota cars and what I paid for mine and what they're going for now. And everything is going up. Price is going up. So what are ways to help? Libby is a huge one.
Yeah. And I learned recently that for every library card you have, you can gain access to more libraries. So if I can find my Mesa Public Library card, I can link to the Mesa Public Library as well as to the LA County Library.
And sometimes you can go to the zoo too with your library card.
Yeah. So, and I think we're able to get get access to Libby in LA County without a card, but I don't have a LA City card, so I want to go get one so I can access that.
Yeah.
I think we just, I agree. We use Libby, use the resources that are available to us, be sustainable too. We love books. We want the book industry to survive, but we also don't need to consume as much as we consume, because that's ultimately why prices keep going up, because they can charge us.
I mean, so one of the commitments I started this year, and I know we started this episode saying I went to Barnes & Noble with a great sale. However, one of the other commitments I started this year was to do the majority of my book shopping at independent bookstores rather than buying off of Amazon. And I feel like I've done a good job of that once I made that choice. And it is a little bit more expensive, but at least I'm helping a smaller independent bookstore. Barnes & Noble, their sale is really epic.
Before January 1.
Before January 1. Until next year when Barnes & Noble has their other sale again. But, I think that, to your point, is be smart of where you spend your money. I think it is important to support the book community to what you're capable of doing. And whether that is, and the same thing as supporting your local library. And I saw this TikTok of a person who works at a library. So, take all this with a grain of salt. But they said that renting on Libby, going to these other apps that have similar things to Libby, it helps. It does, it actually is supporting your local library. They do get credit for that. So, I think about, if you're going to spend your money, figure out where you're going to spend your money. If you're going to try to be sustainable, think about where you're going to try to be sustainable. Just be more conscious of it.
Yeah. And I think, Jack and I were in a unique opportunity, and I think our listeners can do this too, is find authors and do advanced reader copies.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than people realize.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's the
NetGalley.
NetGalley. Yeah. Anyone can start a NetGalley. You can put in the requests. Whether you get accepted or not, I don't know. But the more you do it, the more chances authors take on you, and the more you show your effort to be a ARC reader and your, reviews and everything, the higher chance you'll be selected.
Yeah. So I think everybody, our listeners, should try to do that more.
Yeah.
Even if we don't get selected for all of them, getting selected for some of them is a privilege, and help support authors.
Yep.
Whether they're well published or not, and more sustainability.
And you get to see new potential genres too.
Yeah.
You want to get into new genres, see what it is. And I'm not going to lie, reading a book before it's been published is one of the best feelings in the world.
It really is.
Having that insider knowledge, and even if it's it's going to be a bestseller or not, it is still I got to have access to this. Yeah. It was really great. We've been very fortunate with this. I do also want to say Amazon, I know that's a little bit cheaper sometimes. Don't support a billionaire, like Bezos. And, again, we're coming from a place of privilege. If that is what you can afford, that is what you can afford. There is, no shame in that. If you are able to spend a couple extra $10 or so, if it's $20 more, I won't do it. But, I have a price range that I said, this is what I'm willing to spend more on to support, then that's fine. But yeah, I think so where I wanted to go with that as to one of my own personal goals is Goodreads. So I will continue to use Goodreads because that's just kind of where everyone lands and everything. But one of the commitments that I want to have for myself is to really encourage our listeners to switch over to Storygraph. It is similar to a Goodreads, but better. So you're able to track what you're capable of doing. You're able to what you're reading. Storygraph gives you a lot more details of how many words, what kind of genres you like, what kind of, niche genres you're into. But what I also love about it is that it is a Black female founder and owner of the company. She is the developer. She is the CEO. And I, support more Black businesses, support more female Black owned businesses, especially within the book talk community, and particularly more POC authors.
Yeah. I will be signing up today.
Yeah, you can download your Goodreads. I mean, you're in a lucky spot because you don't track anything, so
I
you
don't
can just
track.
start fresh. You can download your Goodreads and upload it to Storygraph. That is a couple more steps, and that's what I need to do to get your historic data. But I will be tracking my 2025 more detailed on Storygraph, and I'm going to be a little bit more committed to giving honest reviews on Storygraph versus Goodreads. Goodreads, you're not going to see me do a written review. You're going to, my star rating is going to go off of vibes alone.
So why don't we turn inward, Jack? What are some personal bookish goals?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I made this decision last night, and I think that I'm happy to announce it here first. I think that you are the second person for me to tell after I came to this realization with Nicole last night, and that is I really need to get back into Dramani fan fiction.
I love this for you.
There's actually quite a few Dramani fan fictions turn traditional publishing that are coming out next year. So I want to really and there's been a lot more since I got into it and I kind of take a break. There's a lot more that have been published that are really popular. So I'm excited to go back to the fan fiction world. Step into my roots, you know?
Yeah. I love that.
What about you? Dig deep. What are your personal goals?
I think we should include our writing. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's bookish.
Forgot about that.
Reading though, I want to, of the 50 books I read, I want to read at least one LGBTQ book a month.
Yeah.
Because I don't consume enough of it for someone who does identify as queer. And I want to support that genre. I want to support those authors. So that is my goal.
That's a great one.
Thank you.
And then buy them on Audible so I can too.
Of course.
All right, what are
I have
writing?
physical copies.
Okay,
so-
cool. All right, writing goals. Let's switch to our writing goals and our own writing goals, hopes, and predictions.
Yeah.
You go first. I don't want to do it.
I want to. I'm gonna put myself on a time frame, knowing that I can change the time frame, but I need like a goalpost to reach for. I want to finish the first draft of my Sapphic Pride and Prejudice retelling, give it to beta readers, and incorporate the feedback all by June 30, 2025.
I love that.
I have 6 months to finish, share, and then revise. So that's my goal. And then I want to query by the end of the year.
I thought you were doing a play on words off queer.
Oh, it's fair.
You want to query? Yeah, I want to finish my first draft by mid-February. I'm over halfway-ish on my book. Thank you. And then I'm actually kind of stuck on a part right now, so I might like pick your brain on something. Okay. And I might just need to talk at you. Anyway, and then I want to send it out to some readers, some beta readers. A number of listeners have reached out asking for help, or like if offering their help. I would do the same thing that our friend has done for us, where it's like a time frame for the readers and send the questionnaire, and then get their feedback, incorporate their feedback, and then start querying from there. So, but I think I want to finish mid-February of my first draft, take 2 weeks to do my own revisions, maybe 3 weeks to do my own revisions and notes. I'm going off of Kate Golden's timeline, and I can't do Kate Golden's timeline.
No.
I'll do 3 weeks of my own revisions and then send it out to beta readers and stuff. But Kate Golden has really good breakdown on how she edits her own books and does revisions. And I kind of want to follow her structure.
Yeah, I agree. So we both want to finish, revise, send to listeners or readers, revise, and query this year.
Yeah.
We can do it.
We can do it. Oh, let's talk about podcast goals.
Oh.
I know. And this is up to you guys, listeners, if you help us out. I think I'm excited for Throne of Glass
Yeah.
season coming out January something. What day does that come out?
There are things I want to say, but I am afraid of jinxing us. But
Yeah.
you know what? Jinxes only work if you give them power.
Oh,
I'm going to manifest.
that, you know what? I can't hit you. I can't hit you. And I'm so mad at it. But just know we're going to Costco after this. And I'm going to shove you so hard with love. I think you just broke my brain.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not jinxing, it's manifesting. Change our fucking mindset, guys.
Right. I mean,
we're getting matching tattoos. No.
I do think superstition and belief in bad luck only has power when you give it power.
Yeah.
Just like manifesting only has power if you give it power.
Holy shit. Okay. I think my brain is tingling up here. All right, go ahead. Manifest for the podcast, Amy.
Throne of Glass is going to be our best content year.
Uh-huh.
And our best listenership year.
I agree. I think that I really truly feel like the years we've spent has led us to this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that Amy and I have talked about when it comes to like, oh my God, I can't believe we figured this out. And we're like, well, this makes sense. And I'm happy that we're doing it for Throne of Glass. And everything we've learned we're coming up on 3 years. Everything we've learned from these 3 years on how to make the best season possible is coming into like Throne of Glass.
Yeah. Yeah. And we always used to say that we wouldn't do Throne of Glass until podcasting was our full-time job.
Yeah.
And podcasting is not our full-time job, but we've learned enough to do it justice in a way that we would not have been able to 2 years ago.
Agreed. It's funny. You're like, it's not our full-time jobs. I'm like, it kind of is. We just happen to have 2 full-time jobs.
We have 2 full-time jobs.
That's all that is. But like, to your point, like we would not have done it justice at all.
Yeah.
And, we've only recorded 2 episodes so far.
Mm-hmm.
Third one we're recording Wednesday or so.
Yeah.
Depending on how late I do my notes, we'll see. And and it's been I'm having so much more fun with what I'm seeing than I did. I think
all of Crescent City.
I haven't had this much fun since ACOTAR 1.
I agree. Since the very first season.
Yeah.
Like the joy and mind tingliness, like the stimulation.
Yeah.
And not in a sexual way, the stimulation I'm receiving from us engaging in Throne of Glass is equivalent to when we conceived of the podcast and started season 1 in secret.
Yep. I agree. And that's not that we don't love everything we've done. Like, I want everyone to know we've loved everything we've done. I think Crescent City was just really hard because it was such a smart writing. And not that Throne of Glass isn't smart writing, but I think that there was so much to Crescent City that was happening that it was hard for me to find. I don't want to assume what's hard for you, but it was hard for me to find like what we're trying to do because there was just so much other stuff happening. So it's like we're trying to cover everything else and we're trying to say, no, this is all the other things that's going on. Yeah. Versus the simplicity that is Throne of Glass. It lets us be able to sink our teeth into the analysis.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I really, really hope listeners like do share it and post about it. Like posting on social on Instagram is some of the most important things that people can do to help support the show.
Even if it's just posting a story. Posting stories
is the most you can do.
Is like the most amazing thing you can do for the podcast.
Yeah. It's all it all has to be is a screenshot of listening and being like, love this episode.
Yeah.
That's it. And it that alone has helped. And we have like actual data that shows that that's how our growth of the podcast happens, where there's been a lot that we've seen, like, Spotify kind of does a breakdown of like where the most of your new listeners come from. And a big chunk of ours comes from people sharing links too. So, but like no pressure, guys. Just sharing on stories is the best, is because it starts a conversation.
Yeah. Yep. And just like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Book talk for book talk.
What does one mean for that? So Amy has a lovely goal that she found on Instagram reel or something like that, and basically explain the thing, Amy, so I don't take your thunder of finding it.
Oh, sure. So you buy however many mini bottles of champagne you want, and on each one you tie a goal to it, and when you reach the goal, you open the bottle of champagne.
Yeah. And I love that because our very first year we had goals like that too, and we're like, okay, well, when we hit this goal we'll do this, and when we hit this goal we'll do that. We only did one of them because we kept hitting the goals very quickly, which was so unbelievably grateful. But now I'm excited to set those goals again.
Yeah, because I don't think we've set goals since the first season.
And it's manifestation.
Yep, it is manifestation.
I feel so good, guys. I love you guys. I love Amy. I love everything. I'm not even drunk. I just feel good.
Life is good.
Life's good. And, whatever comes in 2025, I know it's scary. I know there's a lot of uncertain things of what's to come next year. But, whether it be political, TikTok ban, anything else, just know that the book community, our Book Talk for Book Talk community, we're all in this together. High School Musical style. And, I think that if there's anything that I find comfort in with the book community and what we've built within our own listenership is just how incredible people really are. And so we'll get through it.
Yeah, we will. I think what this conversation has reminded me of, and what I've been reminding myself over the last month or so, is that life can be what you make it. People talk about how bad 2020 was for them because of the pandemic. And I was the most depressed I'd been in 2020. But I also what I remember more, all the really awesome things that I got to do during the pandemic. And I think that 2025 might be difficult.
Will be difficult. Yeah, there's a chance it'll be very difficult.
There's a chance it will be very difficult. I think we can also make it the best year for ourselves by making choices.
Yeah. It's when, God, what was it? In our second year of the podcast when it happened, my life fell apart. My life completely and utterly fell apart.
No, it was year one.
Holy shit. That was year one. Yeah, right. It was just months after the first episode came out. My life completely and utterly fell apart. People I loved died. People I love I lost. And I think but one of the best memories I have is leaving my grandma's funeral with Amy to go to a very small Florence and the Machine concert, and us just dancing and crying together. And it's, it was one of the most hard years I've had in one of the decades. And magical, you can find the magical moments. Yeah. And sometimes those magical moments are what you read. Sometimes those magical moments are you just going with your friend to Costco or Rouse and coming up with stupid book ideas, and like whatever you might make of it. So find those magical moments. Yeah. Do it for the plot.
Do it for the plot. Magic. We create magic.
Yeah.
You create magic for yourself.
And you can do it. You don't need much. Love you guys. I'm going to cry. Okay. Let's sign off.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show. Wait, we didn't even say Happy New Year.
Oh.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, now we can do it. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Next week, we'll be discussing One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. If you'd like to submit your take on any of the books we plan to discuss later this winter, please be sure to follow us on Instagram, where we ask for listener submissions.
If you're enjoying the podcast, please visit our website, booktalkforbooktalk.com, to view our latest merch and learn about supporting the show through Patreon or Venmo. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye.
Bye.
You know what? I'm going to kind of go on a mini rant, and I'll just include this at the end of the episode.
Okay.
So I'm in the middle of, or I think I only have like maybe 7 hours left of the third Spark of the Everflame book.
Yeah. Are you at part 3 yet?
Yeah, I'm at part 3.
Okay.
This is a spoiler if anyone wants to listen to this. So it's Heat of the Everflame. I only have 7 hours left, and I've been texting you my frustrations throughout. Like one of the things that I'm really frustrated in is the what are some of the things I listed was cutting someone off. Like, I need to tell you something, and then they get cut off.
Yeah.
And there was another one I texted you last night.
Kind of the repeating of the like.
Let me look at my text to you.
I was gonna say it's kind of the repeating of like, it's obvious that what's his name is not doing well, and
yeah, I think what I've come to the conclusion of today is that you can't have the reader be smarter than your character.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of my frustrating things is, oh, here we go. I'm looking at my other messages that I sent you. It's like, it's very much a like, like they're just so dumb, you know? And I get like, then people kind of get mad because one of the things that people are mad at is how dumb DM is. And I'm so protective of her that I want to be like, though it's not her fault, that's the author's fault. Like,
yeah, I mean,
like my DM is slightly smarter than this.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is that, and I understand why people were so frustrated with DM in the first book.
Yeah.
And I think the same is true for the third book. I think the second book did a really good job.
I thought the second book was great.
I loved the second book. I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, the problem with the first and the third book is that as a reader, I figured it out a long time ago.
And I just need her to get it together a little bit.
Right. Or the story needs to be such that the clues are less obvious for the reader so that we go back and be like, oh, I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
It hits us over the head too much. And when you're 24 hours into the book, it's just like, I'm done.
It's so exhausting because it's like, it's a big book, but it's still one book. I don't know how many times I can have a near-death experience with these characters. How many times can I have the guards, the soldiers are there with their god dagger, god blade, whatever it's called. Godstone, thank you. And it's like, they're there with their godstone. How am I supposed to, like, I guess I have to give up. And then Luther goes, no, DM, you can't sacrifice me. And then DM's, no, Luther, sacrifice me. And it's just like, I cannot have every other chapter or every single conflict in the book is, but I must sacrifice myself. But now we both must sacrifice, and let me save you, and I want to save you. And I'm even willing to forgive, although now I still have 7 hours, so who knows how much longer I'm willing to forgive. The amount of times that she calls him my prince. And now it's getting a little cringy. Now it's starting to get a little like, can we have another nickname for him, please?
Yeah. I enjoyed the third part enough to forgive the first two parts. I think for me, what it shows is that there was so much plot that she wanted to get through, which, ignoring the interpersonal dynamics, I enjoyed the plot.
Yeah.
The plot is great, but there wasn't enough genuine conflict and new conflict in the interpersonal dynamics that it bogs down the rest of the plot. Like, there wasn't enough balance.
Yeah, I think especially with book 2, it felt like such a good balance between you had like chess. It was a lot of mental chess that was going on while you're trying to get these physical moments, right? Like, you get her finally figuring out her magic and how to use that and everything. And, the explosive moments with her magic. So you get these like movements, and it's a combination of like physical plot and a mental plot.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And versus this one, it is just all physical plot. There's nothing strategy happening. And I felt like by the end of book 2, I felt like DM had stepped into her like, I'm a queen, and like and everything, and this just felt 5 steps back. And the amount of times that things can be resolved with just saying something, just blurt it out and say it, it's too many times. I mean, I'm enjoying it, and I'm still going to continue to read it and love it, and this is still one of my favorite series, but I feel like this feels like a lesson in a lot of what not to do.
Yeah, I mean, and it does, it harps on your biggest pet peeve, which is miscommunication. So, so it's especially aggravating for you, which I understand. I do feel like the editor should have done more.
Yeah, I agree.
Intervention. And I can only imagine what it was like before the editing process.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot that I love about it. It's just, I think it was a letdown after book 2.
And I feel like book 2 is one of the strongest book 2s I've read.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I was blown away with how incredible book 2 was. And yeah, book 3 it's a struggle. Part 1 and 2 could have been combined.
Yeah.
It could have been, and it would have sucked, but it would have been like a cut this together. The amount at one point when they got back with Luther, because I'm in the middle of part 3, but when they got back to the palace and Luther was dying, I looked and I thought, okay, well, he'll probably get better by the end of part 2. And I looked, I'm like, okay, well, how many, like, what? This is like one more chapter left. And there was like 5 more chapters. How long can someone just be on their deathbed dying, and you just have all these like emotional moments? And I get it's like, as a writer, she's just like giving it her all, but you can't have that. It needed to be like those 5 chapters of him dying, cinch it down to 2.
Yeah
Because we know where he's going to survive.
Right. There wouldn't be a part 3.
Yeah, right. Like, we get that he's going to live, and like, you dragged it out long enough. And if you can guess, if the reader can guess that, he is dying way longer before, you've hit the emotional moments, like the emotion was there, but like, we know he's going to live. So like, they haven't had sex yet.
Yeah. I think all of that could have been pushed down, right? He could have had the near death, and she could have realized how much she wants to be with him in part 1. They could have had sex in part 2. You could have a different surprise in part 3. Like,
and where I'm at in the book, they still haven't gotten to this realization, but I have. It's the fact that she cut her finger and mixed it with the solution, that her blood, and then I'm like, well, suddenly I get that you might forget that moment, but at the same time, how did you forget it? And like, how can you not make the connection of, well, if this wound is made out of Godstone and your blood has damaged Godstone, one would then think that your blood might be a solution.
Yeah.
So,
again, you are smarter than DM.
But I'm willing to not be.
Yeah. I don't want to be smarter.
I don't want to be. There's so many times I've been not smart. I'm happy to be a fool. So, yeah.
I don't know about you, Jack, but when it's gift giving season, as much as I love to get everyone gifts, I always stop and get myself something as well, because you never know if it's going to be a win or bust with everybody else's presents to you.
The real gift is the one we can give ourselves, particularly the ones we can order from Quince. Quince has the most amazing everyday luxury items, but at an affordable price.
This is the time of year where those iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters from Quince are the perfect snuggly thing to wear to the office, to wear on the couch.
I've been visiting my mom, who now lives in the East Coast, and it is cold there, and I do not have the proper clothes. And I've actually been ordering some of my clothes from Quince, because all items on Quince are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They're able able to do that by partnering direct with top factories and cutting out the cost of middleman, and passes on the savings to you. And you can get sweaters and coats, which is what I got.
Not only do they use premium fabrics and finishes, they also work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. If you haven't treated yourself yet, get yourself that present you'll love this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk.